We good? Great. So, stage 4 is, for me, stage 4 is very important in any kind of sales process, because it kind of represents the qualitative role of a salesperson within the sales process. Stage 4, the culmination of stage 4, is where you have a proposal on the table, and that proposal is effectively agreed to. Yeah? There may be changes to it. It may go through a very extensive process of redesign, but the basic equation is done, and the basic agreement to move forward with the proposal is there. Yeah? So stage 4 for me, or step 4, is the step where you qualify the opportunity. I just had a telephone call with a client. I've known this person for years. I mean, like 7 years, I think. I speak to them maybe once a year, and I had a couple of meetings at the beginning of the year, very short ones, and then a request came through for a proposal, and the proposal went over, and it was a very quick email exchange, and now a conversation on the phone, 20 minutes long, speaking about the solution requirements and the initial the ideas of what they want to achieve and what they want to get out of a program, and then the agreement to put together a draft proposal which can then be shared with the board of directors. And so you know, I'm in stage 3, stage 4, and when that proposal is there and when it's been agreed to, then bingo, we've got it, we've done it, and effectively it is sold. So even though we have steps 4, 5, and 6 to go until we've got a signature on the contract, step 4 is basically the stage where you should feel very comfortable with yourself that this project has indeed been sold and you have indeed sold it. Okay? So salespeople describe their capabilities and they qualify the opportunity. Yeah? So describing your capabilities, telling the client what you are capable of doing and what you will be able to do, what this solution will look like. Now, buyers do a very important thing. They evaluate their options. They look at the different options that are available to them. They look at what's possible, and you know, they have to put version 1 against version 2 against version 3. That's their job. Yeah, it's their job as a buyer to put different options next to each other. Yeah, generally speaking, the people who do steps 1, 2, and 3 will win, even though they are more expensive, even though they have, you know, more specific products and services. They will win because they have the relationship, they have spoken about the business needs, they've done the early stages of the sale. In some situations, sure, you're always going to be in situations where price wins overall. But even in situations where price wins, yeah, very often there are other mitigating factors. I've got an opportunity running at the moment where we have a Chinese affiliate of a large company, and they have, I'm pretty sure they have decided to go with a different vendor. And the reason that I have been given is price, yeah, because they're just a lot cheaper. But I know at the end of the day that they can't be that much cheaper, because we're already pretty cheap, and even cross-continent like that, you can't get that much cheaper on what we're actually doing, which means there's a different reason. And the reason is relationship. They've had a 3-year relationship with this other vendor, and I know who they are. And, you know, there's no way you break into a relationship like that, right? Relationship wins everything. And so even when price is the reason, it's very often not the reason that is the real reason behind a change of direction. So, okay, salespeople, what do they do? What's the job description of step 4? Review and influence the customer's evaluation criteria and buying criteria, and build this into an engagement plan. We are going to look at a particular tool, and that tool is called the engagement plan. Yeah? The engagement plan has got a very, very specific purpose. It's a very simple tool. It has a very clear intention behind it. It increases the quality of the opportunity. It increases the transparency. And through this transparency, it increases the sales organization's control of the opportunity. It's a very versatile sales idea and a sales tool that we're looking at here. Yeah? Within this plan, we have the customer's evaluation criteria so that they can evaluate the quality of your sales organization, your implementation organization, and everything that you're doing. Okay, so another job then is documenting the validating and documenting the engagement plan and validating it as well. So taking it through to the customer and getting their agreement on all of the points. At this stage, let me say again, every single sales tool that we've looked at in this sales program so far is designed to share with the customer. Even the early qualifier and the pain and personality map were originally designed to have discussions with the client. Yeah? We don't do any documentation for the purpose of internal documentation only. The purpose of all of our documentation is to create conversations, telephone calls, emails, presentations, and face-to-face discussions. Yeah? And the engagement plan is no different, but it is like the one that will do a lot of our sales for us from this time onwards. Develop a draft solution with the business perspective and the IT perspective. Yeah? Now we've spoken about the total solution landscape at the beginning of the program already once in step 1, where we used this concept to generate a list of IT, hardware, software and services that our customer uses at the moment. Now we're going to take this story to its next stage. Yeah? And in step 4, we're going to use the same idea, but this time with 2 different sides to it, where we're going to build a draft proposal from the business perspective and from the IT perspective. So we're going to have a list of IT products and components that go into this solution, yeah? And we're going to have the business needs that are sorted out and solved by those IT components. So we have quite an intricate, detailed piece of work to do in step 4. We need business needs, and they need to be mapped on and matched to IT products and services. Yeah? As we said, this will then go further into step 5, but we'll see what we're going to do with it later on and how we're going to use it to guarantee the success of the project when it gets implemented. Okay? But here we go. And there's one key word behind this concept in step 4, and that word is bridging. Yeah, the bridge. And we need to bridge from IT to business and create a strong link behind those 2 things. Okay. We view and validate the draft proposal with the customer. We're going to create a refined value statement for the customer if that's necessary and if it's needed. This final point here, creating a refined value statement. Yeah? If you remember in step 2, we looked at a draft value statement, the initial value statement, which was designed to create interest, to create curiosity, and to open the door. Basically, we said, we believe you can earn some money by doing this, or you can save some money, and this is why we believe that. If the customer was interested in this, it's very possible that they will want to continue with this story at this stage. So we need to create a refined value statement. This refined value statement is a business case. Yeah? This is a document where the customer is saying, we will reduce our expenses here over the following 6 months based on the following reasons. We will increase revenues over here through the ability to do this, this, and this. We will reduce complexity here, and this is the way that we will measure it. Okay, so the refined value statement is a serious document, and the purpose of this document, it doesn't have any great value to the sales organization. it has a great deal of value to the internal customer who is trying to implement our products and services. Yeah? So we don't do this for us. We do this for the client because the client needs to sell it internally. In every sales process, there are two salespeople. There's you, and there's your internal salesperson, your internal sponsor, your internal customer who needs to sell your stuff to their decision makers internally. Yeah? If you're speaking directly to the key decision maker, they need to look into a mirror and sell it to themselves. They always need to justify it for somebody. If you're working in government, it becomes even more important because they sometimes have a real legal need to justify why they are making certain decisions to choose products and services from certain companies. Yeah? So that's where it becomes even more important that salespeople help their clients develop these business cases or these business rationales for investing money in certain areas. Okay. The key decision maker and the seller agree to go forward with the draft proposal. Yeah? How do we prove this? Number one, a documented a documented draft proposal which has been cleared by the key decision maker. So in step 4, the customer is going to look at our total solution landscape. They're going to look at the business needs. They're going to look at the IT products and components, and they're going to say, yep, how much does it cost? And we're going to say, we're going to try and avoid the money issue. We will need to speak about money in step 4. We probably already needed to speak about money in step 3. We've probably been negotiating rough pricing already, yeah? But in step 4, we are able to give a rough estimate of what it will cost. The more complex the product, okay, the more complex the solution, the greater price will change when it comes to step 5. Complex solutions go through big price shifts between step 4 and step 5. In step 5, we do scoping, and scoping always changes the final number, yeah? Which means, depending on the complexity, you're able to give a relatively good idea of pricing, and if you're not, then you're at least able to say the reason we can't give you a clear indication of pricing at the moment is because we haven't done scoping on these various areas. But we're showing the draft solution to the customer, and they're giving their go-ahead conceptually on this draft solution. Second thing, we've got an engagement plan which has also been cleared by the key decision maker. Yeah? So the key decision maker has looked at our plan, they've looked at the plan of action, and they've said, okay, good, let's move forward with this. Normally, though, the key decision maker looks at the plan and they change the plan. They say, that's no good, those dates are wrong, what about that price? I've still got questions there. Which means we go into a process of suggesting a plan of action and then having that plan of action adapted and changed to fit the customer's requirements. Yeah? This is a natural, important part of the engagement plan process. Yeah? So we're going to build this plan, and very importantly, we're going to build this plan in such a way that it allows us to move forward even if we're not speaking directly to the key decision maker. That's a little bit of magic. I'll show you about that piece of magic when we get to the engagement plan itself. So, a documented revised value statement. This is not mandatory, this depends on the situation, but these first two, the documented draft proposal and the engagement plan, they are must-dos. But you've got two documents here, yeah? And with those two documents, you are effectively fulfilling your need to qualify the opportunity. If you've got a draft solution and an engagement plan in place, they've both been cleared by the customer, then this opportunity has got quality and you're fine moving forward with it. Okay? So, however, we've got 4 sales tools within stage 4. The EP is the engagement plan. The TSL number 2 is the total solution landscape for the draft proposal. Conditions of satisfaction form number 2 is going to come back and make a reappearance, and the value chain part 2, our revised value statement, is going to be in there as well. As I said, engagement plan and total solution landscape are the must-dos, the voluntary tools or the things that may help in specific situations, conditions of satisfaction, and value chain part